if we use neuroplasticity to train our brains to look for that positive, you will find it a lot more often.
In this episode, we're going to talk about the impact of negativity on the world. One of the themes on our compass is positivity, not without reason. If you look at the world these days, it almost seems like the focus is so much on negativity.
Yeah, it's almost by design, if you think about it, huh? Our brains are designed to observe what's negative. So we have a very, very clear negativity bias. If a tiger approaches you, you don't look at it and say, it's just such a majestic animal, it's so pretty, right? You don't do that. Your brain wants to say, we're gonna die. If a tiger is approaching you, we're gonna die. If your boss is a little annoying, we're gonna die. If your partner said something hurtful, we're gonna die, and so on. If you gain a couple of pounds, we're gonna die. And that negativity bias is sadly exaggerated in the modern world in three ways, I basically recall. The first one is the media bias. So the media wants you to stick to their programming, they want you to follow, and sadly, we pay more attention to the negative than we do to the positive. So that's number one. There is a bias at the societal level to show the negative and not the positive. The second is what we started to see on social media and on the internet. When you hide behind the screen, somehow many of us have started to show more of our worst than our best. And the third, sadly, is that those of us who are positive, we retreat. We leave that world. We go like, let the dogfight continue.
Let them do their own thing.
Let them do their own thing. I don't want to be part of this. And so we retreat. And so by retreating from that world, you
amplify the other negativity.
We amplify the negativity. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way because we're going down that spiral where everything is becoming more and more and more negative. I have not watched a horror movie in 15 years, 16 years. I haven't watched a violent movie in 11 and a half years, honestly, unless someone tells me there was a very, very important lesson to be learned in it, okay? I don't watch the news since 2011, right? By doing that, first and foremost, I'm protecting myself. As I tell people, in my talks very frequently, I always watch a comedy before I go to bed. Okay?
That's a good one.
The real way we can change the world is to change ourselves. Okay? And changing ourselves, interestingly, is part of our design. Neuroscience for many, many years thought that your brain and accordingly your habits and intellectual abilities grow until a certain age and then they stop. That's proven to be absolutely not true.
Yeah, true.
So just like going to the gym, when you exercise a muscle, the muscle grows. In your brain, it doesn't show physically, but when you exercise a certain pattern or behavior or ritual, the neural network, the neural pathway that associates with that actually becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. What happens inside your brain starts to show up in your habits. So let me tell you this. I promise you, people who watch the news every day are so much better at finding the negative in life than those who don't. Why? Because you're constantly using the part of your brain that's telling you the world is corrupt, the world is bad, the world is wrong, the world is ugly, and so on and so forth. So you're using that neural pathway so frequently that you become so good at it. The opposite is true as well. The fact that you're not using the pathway that says, oh, but this is amazing and that person is amazing, and there are 7 million people that are in love, not one person that is fighting, and that pathway diminishes, just like your muscles. If you don't use it, it goes away.
On the other hand, I also believe that if you don't have a little bit of negativity, you never get to that
Great point. So to make a difference, you have to be sometimes exposed to a little bit of negative. I say, make a choice. Make a choice, right? So I am an avid, believer in the need of our planet to reverse climate change. Okay? It's in my heart. It's very important. but I'm not the best person in the world to affect this. I'm about happiness, okay? And happiness is also as important. If I split my time between climate change and happiness, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So I make a choice. I make a choice trusting I will focus on happiness, trusting that others will focus on climate change. I'll be informed, but informed to the point where I just am aware of what's happening, but not killing my positivity by looking at the negative side of what's happening. That's a choice. That's level one. Level one is I will decide consciously what negative I allow into my life, and that negative will only be the negative that I know I can affect positively. Okay? And by engaging, it will not feel negative to me. It will feel like I'm actually making a difference. That's level one. Level two is the active act of staying away from the rest of the negative. Actively trying to tell yourself, I know there is always something wrong with the world.
So you need to go back,
and
start
fix your
feeling,
emotions.
start fixing your emotions, becoming more aware of them and releasing them. So you don't need maybe all the drama of the world around you.
Yes, you don't need a horror movie, you don't need the drama, because you can feel naturally healthy. Wouldn't it be so much more joyful if we awakened our engagement with the world by observing the positive? And that's level three. Level three is, if you want, the Jedi Master level of avoiding negativity, is to go to gratitude.
True.
Is to go and see the positives of the world. Because it will shock you. It will shock you how amazing things are when you look for them. When you actually search for the positive, then suddenly you realize, oh my God, almost everything is positive. The fact that you're watching us right now means you have a digital device you can watch on. You're obviously not starving to death. There is no tiger eating your flesh.
And you have time to watch.
You have time. You have a roof on your head, right? By definition, that's absolutely amazing. We live 99% of our life in the positive. The reason why COVID-19 shook us so much is because it was the first pandemic any of us experienced. Most of your lifetime is pandemic-free, positive, and then there is one negative. Okay? Most of our lifetime we're on solid ground, and then some of us experience an earthquake. Most of your winter you're okay, and then you get a few days of a flu. Okay? The reality is that most of life is positive. If we use neuroplasticity to train our brains to look for that positive, you will find it a lot more often. And gratitude, that's the workout you do in the positivity gym.
Exactly.
To actually learn how to find the positive. And one of the best exercises is really to have a gratitude journal, write every single day the good things that happened in the day. And when you're doing this, two things happen. One, the negativity goes away. You start to see the world in a positive view. And the second, you start to wire the brain properly so that the brain becomes better at finding what's positive. Okay? My exercise now, because I've done this for years, is I do this on every instance. In every moment of my life when my brain tells me something is negative, I say, okay, brain, I heard you. What else is positive about it right now? Not in the journal at the evening. Right now, tell me what's good about it. Okay? And imagine how much easier and more enjoyable life is if you can see the whole truth. A little bit of challenge, a little bit of negativity, and a lot of positivity. When your brain starts to get used to a habit, it goes into mechanical mode. So it filters a lot of things out. Okay? If you, by definition, go to the same supermarket every day and buy the same exact bottle of milk, you don't even think about it anymore. So you do it habitually and you're not really paying any attention at all. As you're doing it habitually, every time you're doing it habitually, you're strengthening the neural network. Now, if you want to change a neural network, you have to get out of the habit. Right? Yes. You have to tell your brain, hey, hold on, we need to pay attention to this. Wire your own brain in the right ways. My advice to people is do things regularly for an extended period of time. So basically, tell yourself, I will say thank you 3 times every hour of every day. You know how those fitness devices tell you, oh, get up and stretch every 1 hour? Okay?
Yeah.
I will actually make sure that every 1 hour I will get up and tell myself, tell the world, tell the universe, tell people around me, thank you for this, thank you for this,
that.
thank you for that. Thank you for this wonderful setup, thank you for our friendship, thank you for the glass of water. Because you know what? When you start to realize that, you start that so many people in the world don't have this glass of water. Can you believe that?
No, yeah, I know.
And we
yeah.
take it for granted and look at the negative.
Yeah.
If we start to observe the positive.
Well, if you divert your attention to the positive, then you will actually help
Yes.
bring more positive energy into the world.
Totally. And imagine if all of us, imagine if
that,
all of us
yeah.
together, everyone listening to us, okay? Imagine if we put a little more positivity in the world and then we touch 2 people, each of us, and those 2 people touch 4 people. How much positivity will be out there in the world?
Amazing. Thank you so much. I think in the next episode we're going to talk about technology, whether it's a curse or a blessing, or maybe a little bit of both. So I truly hope to see you in the next episode of Joy to the World with Mo Gawdat. See you then. Thanks. And thank you.
Thank you.